All right, so we're just going to let your video play through here. This is the video we took during practice. All right, we'll play that back once more. Okay, so if we take this and just watch, like we talked about all day today, the front foot. Once we get into foot strike, it's right here. The foot is all the way in the ground with weight on it. We can see that angle of the foot, and we know because we can see the knee here, that shin from the left foot with the toe inwards. That's making the shin go inwards, so the knee is inside of that foot. And then our femur, which is the bone from our knee to our hip socket, that's our femur. Our femur is then going back from the right to the left. So we got like this inverted diagonal V almost in our knee going inwards. And because of that position, this backside can't fire. We can see this isn't fired. Our belt's in the same spot as it started. So that means our hips haven't rotated. And it takes now all that knee to buckle out to allow that hip to rotate. And then it has to keep on buckling out to throw. And as that's happening, we're losing contact with the ground, which isn't necessarily always an issue, but it's not something that we want to start having happen right now. This would be more of a power and energy thing, not necessarily what's happening with you. And because it had that knee, like we talked about, had to buckle out and swivel so much here, but after it got into the ground, that then it's going to make its way down into our foot, and it's going to start spinning it. And that's spinning through the toe, not through the heel. That's because it's all going outwards. We pull up the second video after you and I worked on it after practice. And this is what we were eventually able to get to at the end of things, or by the end of the session. Boom. So we can see now a big difference. All right, let me slide this over here. Get this back to when you first get into the ground there. So there's where we started. And this is where we're currently left the day at. Okay, so big time differences. All right, this is exactly what we're looking for. All right, see how much further that belt's able now to rotate? That belt's a lot more through. See our knee right on the left side here, the kneecap's right here. The knee is just bent inwards. It's not rotated at all. Over here, the top of your knee is like right here. So if we drew a straight line from it, it'd be coming towards this way. So it's rotating in. We can see the difference in this back foot position, driving yourself away from the rubber as you get into this foot strike versus where this foot's at right here. So we got the bad now on the right and the good on the left. All right, we're driving away. We're firing that hip starting to. We're firing that back knee. Over here, we got nothing going on. Look at the head position. Because of the fact that your knee is here, You're basically keeping everything inside of your body when you need to get in line with your body. So your head's having to tilt out because it knows it's going to have to help get that knee around. It's going to have to get that knee around. Versus, oh, I lost our spot. We can get it back. Foot strike versus make that throw. Make that throw. Make that throw. Look at that back leg now staying in the ground until it's supposed to come up. Why is it supposed to come up? Because the throwing arm is coming across the body. Across the body. It's pulling that head forward just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. And then the body just finishes nice and smooth around it under control. Okay. And at this point in the day, this throw right here was just smooth and relaxed. We weren't throwing but maybe 75%. But when we were making these throws here, we were pretty close to max go. So let's just watch this body play out here. Actually, let me see if I can do... Yeah, here we go. Okay. Boom and boom. Now in terms of time, okay, so almost timed up. Let me get that. Where's that gonna be best? Why can I get this smaller? This thing's just dominating the screen. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Hang tight with me here, bud. I'm trying to do this for the first time on this style here. Okay, so let's get this one going first. Then we get this one going. Oh, we're pretty close here. Boom. Let's see if I can't do that again one more time. If not, we'll just edit it after and just play it again and again. So boom. Go to this boom. Yeah. The one on top's just a little quicker. But just look how much better that bottom one looks, dude. My goodness. Yeah. We made big time strides today, man. Big time strides. Let's try and do this one more time and see if I can't be a little quicker with... Oh, man, now the one on the bottom's a little too quick. But that's okay. Okay, so now we don't need to watch this first one no more. We can clearly see those differences. Let's now start showing at your front foot strike. So front foot strike is once this foot hits the ground, boom, the position we're in. Right there. Okay. Now that we've gotten this to fire so much better, we're in such a stronger, stable position, okay? We can see as we go to throw this shin, this knee, not having to buckle out at all, okay? But now that we've gotten boom, 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 really, really good, we got to make sure we keep focusing on it like we did, okay? We can use your, I'm sure you got probably even nicer cell phone than I do. get that video going in front of you like we did today, and we'll be pulling up those so we can see the progress we made through those videos. And like we did today, do like 8 throws and then go look at that video. Make sure you're getting better and better and not worse and worse. So that way the next set you can make them better or keep them the same how you have been. Okay. But what we want to now think about is, now that we've got this lower half fired, we want to try to keep this upper body back as best we can. And in back, I mean shoulders not having begin to finish as early as they are. Okay, so we'll get you back into foot strike. We can see we're doing actually a pretty good job now that I'm looking at it more and not having to worry about the lower half. It's in a good position, but what I want you to notice is how quickly the front shoulder is going forward. Okay. Take you back to front foot strike. And now let's pull up some big league videos here. Let's start with trying to use some different guys of videos that I've used with other players of yours. Let's actually just sort it by this file size so we get a good I want to try to find a guy that's got a leg lift like yours and body moving like yours. Let me watch this again real quick. Okay. So watch Fernando here. A little bit different moving body, but we're just concerned about what he looks like when he gets into his foot strike. Okay. If we back this up now, okay, notice how his glove path, the path his glove takes through hand separation, how it's always going out towards the target. It's always going out towards the target, but it's out in front of him in terms of third base side. It's in front of his chest to start, and then it's moving more the elbow towards the target as it is the glove. So that way when he gets into foot strike, boom, it's starting to finish right there. Okay? And notice how his throwing arm now, because he was using this glove out in front of his body versus yours out in front of your body here, but then it swoops out. Your hand swoops out, and now you're basically pointing a sword, all right, like you're fencing. Okay, this swooping out of the glove has a lot of energy going out, out, out. And now when we go to that rotation or that swivel of that glove, we can see the swivel is now going out and down, out and down. And the glove is really far away from us here. Okay, the further this glove gets away from our body, the slower now we can rotate these shoulders, because see how much of that elbow has to bow out? That whole forearm is bowing out. And now that, because it's so far to the behind you in terms of towards first base side, it's going to start to peel that shoulder just a little bit early. And because peeling it a little early, it's taking the back elbow and shoulder and making it come forward just a little too soon. Okay, right here we need this arm to start to be laying back into external. And we can see yours doesn't start to lay back until now. And it never really gets, your arm has the capability of getting a lot more external rotation before you get that ball out, which would allow you to get that ball out like that frame right there, as opposed to it coming out here. You'd be able to let the ball go out. Maybe right between this frame and this frame, the ball would be coming out of your fingers. So the longer you can hang on to the ball for, the more force you're going to have on that ball going down, as opposed to just going almost up. So we bring over to Fernando again, get him into foot strike here. Boom. Okay. This glove is halfway to being finished. This throwing arm is now from his front shoulder that's facing the catcher through his chest that's straight behind that shoulder is now his throwing shoulder, and then that elbow is straight across his body. We get you back to foot strike. Boom, foot strike right. There's the weight in it. And we can see how this shoulder's bowing out at this point already, which means this shoulder's being pulled in at this point already. And this hand is in front of your face, in front of in terms of third base side. We look here and we can see that that ball is like directly behind his head in terms of in front or behind. And his glove is finishing, preventing his shoulder from peeling out. So now all that rotation takes him towards the plate and out. And notice how much, when he's releasing this ball, it's going down. We get yours going through here. Okay, so we get you to your point of which your shoulders are squared to the plate. And we get Fernando, to the point where he's squared to the plate. There's foot strike. And now his shoulders are squared to the plate. All right, so we can see the difference in this forward trunk tilt. So the trunk, again, is from your hips to your shoulders. This entire mass of your body is your trunk. He's using his trunk going towards the target and his trunk rotating to maximize his power in the throw. We come back to yours and we can see that we did a phenomenal job today doing what we wanted to accomplish. This is just the next step now to your delivery. Okay, so I don't want to take away anything that you did today because it was awesome, the progress we made. But now it's just understanding that your lower body is now in a much better position. So your upper body doesn't need to be doing what it has always been doing, which was compensating for the position it was being put in with your old lower body position when you got the foot strike here. Okay, so now we just got to retrain the upper body, and it's going to be a lot easier to retrain this upper body now that the lower body is where we want it to be. Okay, so now it's just thinking, let's keep this upper body back longer, and back longer at this point, meaning shoulders not rotating as early. And it's going to be easier for you if your glove doesn't get so far out in front of you so early and just creates this continuous whoop motion. Whoop. And we can just see it kind of just peels that energy at the last bit this way as your arm's cocking back versus that. Okay, so let's use a completely different guy. All right, so he's at foot strike, and notice how this glove is a lot closer to his body. So let's watch the glove separation. See how it's always moving towards the target, but it's more out in front of his body in terms of third base. And then as it does that swooping motion, it's swooping into a glove finish. Swooping into a good glove finish. All right, so now let's watch this trunk of his. He's in the ground, and now the trunk is going forward to continue that acceleration forward. And what else is his shoulders doing? The rotation. Should probably give you a little bit more space so we can see that glove the way I was intending that to line up there. All right, so we get him back. His max reach is here. And we can see, oops, let me pause that. His max reach is here before that glove starts to swivel, swivel, swivel. So right before it starts to swivel, it's extended out there pretty far, but the shoulder to elbow's here, and then the forearm's going this way. It's in front of him. Yours is straight in, I'm sorry, it's in front of him in terms of third base side. It's also in front of him in terms of to the plate. Your glove is in front of you in terms to the plate, but is in line with you in terms of first or third base. Okay? So because this got out so early, when it goes into its swivel, this forearm has been going out for so long, it can't just swivel the hand. It's got to dip down here and then swivel the hand. Then swivel the hand. Instead of that hand swiveling here to get us into that good finish and to allow the trunk to get out in front and not have the trunk get peeled out early. And then fight to get it then going to the plate. But it's been going so much rotating and then going versus going while it's rotating. Okay, so we're getting close, man. It's just that upper body a little bit, but the lower body's been good. So let's look at where's the first one at? There it is. So just to see that this was the first time we started to look at the foot and address that issue. How even from the side, you can see how I was spinning there, right? What's going on here? That's your foot strike, and then it's spin, 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 spin out, and then everything swivels on that foot. And then we got to, that's down. Then we got to this was the next session here. And you can see that swiveling happening there. We could also see how easily that foot was just coming off that rubber instead of driving, like we talked about, how you're doing such a much better job of this back foot driving that energy to the target before that foot comes off the ground, right? So again, there's the foot strike. And then this was the next round. You see we were hitting with that angle we were talking about, boom to boom. But the shin was getting better here. But that's when we started to realize and talk about after we watched this that the hip wasn't doing what it needed to do. And how we still see a little shimmy in that ankle. So then after, we only did it for a minute and a half. And probably a good 20 seconds of that is me setting it up and then stopping it again. Then we went to the next round. And we can see that progress being made with that hip getting better. So again, this angle provides us that ability to see how far outside that body that elbow has gotten. And also the ability to see how quickly that glove points straight. And now that swoop, you can see how that takes your front shoulders out. You're going already rotating. You can see those shoulders are already rotating before that foot hits the ground. We don't want to start rotating until after it's on the ground. So we're losing that ability to have this extra rotation right here. We could wait and have it so that it hits here, and then those first 3 frames rotate, and then we come with that extra power through here. So in terms of frames, contact, and we're already starting to throw. So 1, 2, 3 frames we're missing. The ability to have the glove start swiveling into the straight in to this area right here. But because of this momentum of it going this way, there's no way we can expect it to. It's just going to go out, and then it's going to fall as we try to tuck that elbow in. So if you could imagine, we have this position here, upper body wise, at this position here, lower body wise, how much more power and rotation we would be able to have once it's time for it to come through. Okay, but let's just take this and keep that one there. I shouldn't have taken the other one, exit it, but let me get that one back. There's foot strike on that one. Next round. I like the attention to the detail here. It's a little thing, but just keeping your surface, your area, your workspace nice and clean and tidy. We've been using this time to be thinking about that adjustment that we're going to make, how we're going to do it, what we want to feel like, that nice little breath right before, all right, all this stuff, all these little things that no one sees. That little breath right there. You're here, you're thinking about it, and it's just getting that breath, peeking at me. Am I good to go? Here I go. All right, these are little things that 99% of people don't see, but the 1% that do see, we appreciate it. And we know that you're in a good space to work hard and smart. So keep doing you.
We don't even care where that ball goes. You could be hitting geese as they fly by. I don't care. Just focusing on that front side.
All right, so we'll take you to foot strike on this one. Boom. And again, that elbow, you can watch that glove. Swoop. Swoop. It's on a good timing. It's in time with when the front foot's opening up, which is exactly what we want. That's that good upper body rhythm. But it goes beyond that front side, and then it opens us up a little early. But we get you at foot strike here. Oh, that's right. This was a slow-mo one. That's why. Oh, 10 minutes. I'll say one of these took forever to airdrop to my laptop here. This is definitely the one. That was 6, right? No, this is 6. I did one more after that. The slow-mo is going to be the best one to stop at. So let's then pull these up and look at our progression. So 2. We can make these a little smaller. And then, of course, the slow-mo one wasn't the greatest focus, but all right. So if we look in terms of positioning, we can see just based on the stripe a lot of things. Okay. We can also see a lot of things with the back foot too, with where we're striding. On this one, we got a stride that's going very much right towards the front toe, which by no means is bad. It's just something to pay attention to here, and how that doesn't necessarily give your backside a whole lot of space to come through, even if we have this open more. Okay, and we can see on this one, it looks like we started to use our foot a little bit to try to get in alignment by swooping and over opening that foot out. Then getting us into this one where the foot is a little bit more in line, but we can see that the front hip hasn't fired as much in this one as it has this one. But then we get into this one, and this front hip has opened up a lot more. This front kneecap is almost all the way to the target. This front kneecap is probably the best one. But look where now the foot is at. It's more in line with the back heel. If that foot's more in line with the back heel, that's going to provide plenty of room for this backside to come. Because why? What are we driving off of that back foot ultimately at the end? That toe. So that means this toe would be plenty clear through here. If we're driving through our heel, or I'm sorry, if this foot is landing like in line with our toe, it's going to be very small space for our hips to fire through. You're going to have to be super, super efficient, point A to point B, and not be able to swivel or over rotate, but make your rotational angle bigger than it needed to be. So good job going through all this progress here. And now if we just pull up, hold on, where do I want to look at this at? Here we go. This isn't from the angle I was hoping, but this is the front foot strike, seeing that belt firing. I thought I had another one of those that was from that angle, or from the front angle. Apparently not. Okay. And let's just do... Find whoever's got the best straight on angle. Nope. Hannibal, back in when he was making big names for himself. Foot strike, boom. All right. So we can see you guys are pretty darn similar positions, but we can just see this is almost the entire thigh at this point is facing the target versus your thigh being facing more third base side. That's just is his hips getting through a lot more. His belt buckle is pretty much straight on, where yours is like halfway or a little bit more than halfway rotated from where it started at. Boom. So see how his thighs here and his belt buckle's all the way through. So you're getting close to it, but now that you got the motion down, the feel for what we're looking for, now it's just time to start getting it more powerful, and it'll get more aggressive and more rotational. But it's going to be a whole lot easier once that glove gets cleaned up with it too. So let's see if we can find one more for you of someone else from a good angle. Boom. So see how we can see more of his belt buckle, more of the top of his thigh. First, you got most of your inner thigh that we can see. So see what I mean? When he's striding towards his toe, he gets in there. There's not a whole lot of space for any wasted rotation. It's got to be super efficient. Super efficient to be able to come through on time. Okay. So getting there, man. Keep working.